Michael Thomas is an elder law attorney. Michael Thomas consults with families and individuals that are facing decisions regarding Medicaid, nursing homes, and planning for the well-being of their family and loved ones. The following video contains information to better understand the need to get legal advice regarding your specific personal situation. Every situation is different. Each requires an analysis to best determine a plan and strategy that is legal and ethical. It is important to understand that this video does not contain legal advice. Legal advice can only be provided by an attorney in person. This video is produced solely to introduce you to Michael Thomas and to communicate the advantages of choosing an attorney with significant experience in elder law.
If you're watching this video today, it's probable that you're in one of three situations. You're in crisis. You have a person who's in a nursing home or very close to going there. Two, you're in pre-crisis. You have a loved one who has Alzheimer's, maybe failing in health, and you're looking down the road knowing sooner or later you're going to have a nursing home situation. Or three, you're in reasonably good health, but you recognize and you've watched your friends suddenly a stroke or some catastrophe changes their entire life. What we're going to try to do today is teach you what Medicaid law really is. At least the basics to protect yourself and until you can get to someone who can give you some advice. In our experience, as people enter the Medicaid system, they fall into one of four categories. The first category are those individuals who know they need help and they seek advice from friends, even social workers, and get bad advice. The second group are people who know they need help and they seek advice from an attorney, but the attorney is not an elder law attorney, doesn't understand Medicaid. They get bad advice. The third group are those who don't seek help at all. They let the system do to them, and they end up spending thousands of dollars they need not spend. The fourth group are people who finally and actually seek an elder law attorney. They get good advice, they get help, their assets are sheltered, their stress is relieved. The purpose of this video is to show you how to avoid being a member of those first three groups and go right to good advice. Let's focus on group number one, those people who are receiving well-intentioned advice that is not correct. This kind of advice that comes from non-professionals and maybe even social workers has created what I call Medicaid myths. These are things that many people believe to be true that are absolutely not. Let me give you some examples. Myth number one, and 80% of seniors believe this: I don't need Medicaid, I have Medicare. Well, here's the fact. Medicare does not cover long-term care in a nursing home. Medicaid does, if you qualify. That's the truth. Another myth. If you are already in a nursing home, it's too late to shelter your assets. That's absolutely untrue. It's never too late to shelter assets. It's more difficult. We may not be able to shelter as many, but it's never too late to shelter assets. People come to us quite often after they've received some well-intentioned advice that if they put their assets in joint name with their children, they'll be exempt for nursing home purposes. The fact is this: if you put your assets in joint name with your children, that will either have no impact on your Medicaid eligibility or it will cause a penalty period during which you can get no Medicaid help. Some people believe if they have a revocable living trust that their assets are exempt for nursing home purposes. The key word here is revocable. If your trust is revocable, all those assets are yours for nursing home purposes. We talked about this second group of people who sought an attorney's advice, but the attorney was not an elder law attorney. Some clients are given the advice that if they are in a second marriage, they have a prenuptial agreement, and they keep their assets separate, that if one of them goes into a nursing home, that prenuptial agreement will protect the assets from nursing home expenses. Well, the state doesn't recognize the prenuptial agreement. All assets of a marriage, second marriage prenuptial agreement, all assets are counted for Medicaid eligibility purposes. Some well-intentioned financial advisors may tell you that it's smart to give away $12,000 per year per person, since you can do that without a federal estate and gift tax penalty. Well, it may be smart for estate and gift tax purposes, but it's not smart for Medicaid purposes, since it will render you ineligible for Medicaid. You've taken a very important first step by watching this program. You don't have to be a multimillionaire to want to protect your assets. In fact, at $72,000 a year for nursing home costs, the less money you have, the more important and critical it is that you protect your assets. And for whom are you protecting these assets? Well, if you're single, you're protecting them for yourself. If you go into a nursing home for a period of time, you get better and you come out, how are you going to live if you spent tens of thousands of dollars on the home? For your spouse. Husbands, if you go into a nursing home and you're spending assets at the rate of $72,000 a year, how is your wife going to live? And what about your family? If you go into a nursing home and leave a house that needs to be maintained and you run out of money, are your children going to be stuck with that expense out of their own pocket? Are they going to have to pay for your care out of their own pocket because you didn't plan? Yourself, your spouse, your family. Those are the reasons you do Medicaid planning. So when do you begin planning? You begin now, when you have time, resources, and favorable laws? Or do you wait until you're in crisis, in a nursing home, and you're paying, with the possibility under the new law that you could run out of money and still be ineligible for Medicaid? Now I know what some of you are thinking. I can't afford an attorney. I can't afford Medicaid planning. Well, let me point this out to you. When you're taking all of your assets and holding those up against a small one-time fee to protect them, how can you not afford to do that? I have never had a client not do Medicaid planning because he or she couldn't afford it, and I never will. If you're like most married couples we encounter who are facing a nursing home situation for one of the spouses, you've gotten bad news every place you turn. You've been told not to do this. You can't protect that asset, and you're stressed about that. You don't know what you can do and what you can't do. You don't want to do the wrong thing. Well, let me give you this piece of information. This is good news. We can protect all your assets. Almost without fail, as we develop a plan for Medicaid protection or for sheltering of assets, we hear the same thing. Michael, this is too good to be true. Please understand that our law office constantly monitors changes in Medicaid law and in decisions that are made regarding Medicaid law. Everything we do in our office is allowed by Medicaid regulations. It's just not well known by people who aren't experts. When your Medicaid plan is being prepared to go before a state Medicaid worker, it's being prepared by retired Medicaid workers who used to approve these plans. We do not hide assets in our office. In fact, we not only report to the Medicaid worker where the assets went, we prove to the Medicaid worker where they went. Everything is documented. That Medicaid worker has records of wherever single asset sits when we file the Medicaid application, and it's okay. We have never had a Medicaid application rejected. So where do we go from here? Well, it starts by making an appointment to come and see us. If that's done, you will receive in the mail an information list and instructions as to what to bring to the office. The first thing you need to know is, don't bring your checkbook to our first meeting. Thank you for taking this important first step in getting the answers to some of your questions. Now let's get answers to all of your questions. Call our office for a free consultation and find out what 8,000 families in this area have already found, that it's not about money, it's about people.